Hello, my name is Adrian Garza. I am from second semester and I'm studying business intelligence. And this video will be about what I have learned during this class, how have I learned it. I will also talk about which has been the easiest, the most complicated, and the most innovative way about learning strategies for being more ecological. I will also talk about what I can improve to learn more and be better at this aspect of being more ecological, and I will also talk about how can I apply the acquired knowledge in different situations of my normal life. I believe that making this video is important to reflect on what I have learned, how I have learned it, and how my learning contributes to being an agent of change in the face of climate change and its effects. I would like to start talking about what I have learned in a personal way about being more ecological thanks to this class. I think that I start being more conscious about my consumption of natural resources like water, electricity, or producing trash thanks to this class. I learned a lot about how our mini effects can affect good or bad to the environment. And for example, I make a lot of changes in my daily life thanks to this class. Like for example, in my consumption of water and my consumption of energy and my consumption of trash like plastic bottles. Like for example, I would like to share you some evidence of these changes that I have made during the semester. Let me share you screen. Like here, in for example, you can see that I stopped consuming a lot of water in my bath time. For example, I passed from consuming 15 minutes of water when I have a bath to a maximum of 5 minutes of consumption of water, what is a good reduction of water. I also stop using electronic devices when I'm not using like for example, my TV or my charger for my phone. So I disconnect them. I also stop using or reducing my amount of water when I wash the dishes. I also make the change of my alimentation and I stop consuming a lot of animal products. I stop using a lot of plastic bottles and I start using more like a recycled bottle. I also start using more the public transport to like reduce my air pollution and my contamination using the cars or transport in my daily life. So yeah, I start like I learn a lot about the mini effects that we have in the environment in our daily life. So I started like making a lot of reductions in this. In a professional way, I learn a lot about how the companies adapt their processes and the way of working to being more ecological. But I also learn a lot about terms like greenwashing. That is when the companies use their marketing to tell that they are helping the environment, but being real, they are not helping the environment. They are just making more money with these campaigns. So yeah, I learned a lot about this, and it also helped me to, for example, my career that is business intelligence. I learned a lot about all how the companies move and what they need to do to adapt their processes and things to be more eco-friendly. So I can use this information in the future for my future work or in my future projects in other classes or things like that. In a citizen way, I learned a lot about what the government do to help the environment and reduce these problems like air pollution, contamination, or all the trash in the oceans. Nothing here in Nuevo León, but like in other places of Mexico. So yeah, I learned a lot about how the cars are like affecting in a really bad way to the environment for all the contamination or the new innovations that some companies are making to help the environment. So yeah, I will now pass to talk about how I learned all this. I would like to talk about two tools that I really like during this class. That is the network mapping and the Messi map. That are two tools that help us to identify some things that are involved in these problems. Like for example, in the network mapping and in the Messi map, we can see that we can identify the impacts, the problems, the instruments, and the actors that are involved in these problems that are affecting us and the environment at the same time. So in these tools, they help me to discover all the things that I learned during this class. And I'm also learn a lot about documentaries, videos, and internet information that help me to learn all of these things. Like, for example, in a personal way, I learn a lot about what my families and friends do to impact the environment, like using less the cars or like the normal things that they do day by day to reduce their consumption of natural things to help the environment. And in a professional way, I I use a lot of internet media like videos, documentaries, and web pages to like investigate more in the internet to know more information about this and like use it in my group projects or individual projects and know more about what is happening with these problems, what can I do, and what strategies can I imply in my daily life to like know more. And what I have used in my citizen life to like learn more about this topic is just like going out to the street and see how is like the trash organized, or what is the government telling about what to do about this problem. So yeah, in a mini conclusion of this, I have used these tools in a personal way and in a professional way to learn about more of these topics. And in a citizen way, I just like um, live my life and learn about what is happening outside to like know what is happening in the street. Now, I would like to talk about what has been the easiest thing about learning about these strategies. I think that the easiest thing about learning about these strategies of being more ecological, sorry, is that it's very easy to like get information from internet and different media to like know about these strategies and apply them in our daily life. Like for example, with 10 clicks, we can have a very good documentary to learn about this and like to know what to do and how to have a better impact in our environment. But in a contrast, the most difficult thing or the thing that has been the most difficult for me to learn about these strategies is that we are living in a society very close or very like in negation of creating a change in this environment because like for example the people in here in our society of Mexico is very close like to stop using the cars or like using new implementations of like new innovations in the companies or things like for example to reduce their pollution or the contamination in companies because they are afraid of like implementing new things and living in a side the traditional way. I think that that's the most difficult thing and the most innovative or the best innovation thing about learning about these strategies of being ecological is all the things that the companies are implementing in their processes to make these processes more eco-friendly. Like for example, I learned a lot about companies that are being so innovating, like Tesla or Patagonia, that are adapting their processes to be more eco-friendly and that their products create a less quantity of CO2 possible to like help the environment in their totally. Now I will talk about um, what I can do to learn more and be better in this aspect of being more ecological. In a personal way, I think that I can like join with more people or like yeah, start getting with more people that know about this topic to learn about what they do in their daily life, to like start making it in my daily life and like start on something more ecological things and things, for example, in a professional way, I can like read more to learn more about the situation and like learn more to make more people know about this. And in my projects or homeworks, I like implement this information to like transmit it to more people and make this impact even more big. And in a citizen way, I think that I can improve in the way of using more public transport and like using or generating the less trash possible, because I think that I can improve in this aspect a little bit more. And yeah, I think that I can apply this knowledge in different situations. Like for example, in my daily life, or I can like use more natural transports, like I don't know, bicycles, or like walking more to the school, things like that, to like help more the environment in a professional way. I think that I can apply all this knowledge in my future work. Like for example, in 3 years I will graduate, I will be working in a real company, so I can like contribute in their processes or in my daily work to like apply this knowledge that I already know in their processes, or something that I need to be implied to like make it more eco-friendly and apply this knowledge to like improve in this aspect. In a citizen way, I think that I can like apply this knowledge in giving the example to other people, like separating the trash in the streets or generating the less quantity of CO2 possible when I am outside in the city. So yeah, in a mini conclusion, I have learned a lot about how to reduce my consumption of natural resources like water, electricity, or trash. And I also learned a lot about what are the problems that we are generating as a society, and how we can like apply different strategies to try to reduce our impact in the big problem that is right now in the society. I think that the next step from Adrian of the future will be like continue improving in his strategies from for being more ecological, like consuming less natural products, sorry, more natural products and less animal products, and like generating the less quantity of trash possible, and mm, reducing my consumption of natural resources. I continue doing this to make a step-by-step change and make a long-term change for the good of everyone. Um, I think that is very important, and I will make an invitation for all the people that is watching this video to like start making a change and start acting for a real change in our society, because there are being so much SDGs that are being affected by these problems, or like air pollution and contamination and things like that. Like for example, let me share. I have in here some SDGs that are being affected by these problems. Like for example, the SDG number 3, that is that the good and health and well-being SDG, because a lot of youngs and kids are growing up with a lot of health diseases like asthma or lung diseases, because of all the contamination and air pollution that we are having in our society. So we have to start acting right now to stop this. Another SDG that I will like invite you to like contribute to stop and help their action is the climate action, the SDG number 13, because our environment is dying slowly, and we have to start acting to like create a change in the future for our generation, future generations, for our future children's, and for our actual family that is like suffering quietly in the at the moment, but in the future it will be the problem bigger and bigger, and we need to start right now. So yeah, like in a mini conclusion, I have learned a lot about how our mini effects can affect the environment. So we need to start making a change right now. I learned a lot about how the companies can make good processes for help the environment, but how they can also like affect the environment with all the things that they can do. So um, it's in my um possibility, is if it is in my possibility, I will try to change this in the future. And in a citizen way, I learn a lot about what is the government doing to eradicate this problem, and how we can like citizens make a step-by-step change to try to like in a long term finish with these problems like air pollution and contamination. So yeah, thank you, and this is all.